What up, fans, and welcome back to the MMA channel with me, Marisol. Today we're going to be talking about Maycee Barber, her dreams, her goals, and how that has actually been derailed. So let's get into exactly why she will no longer be making history in the UFC. I did a video about Maycee Barber a while back, maybe about 3 months ago or so, and in that video I talked about how her rise to the top will be seamless. That has been completely derailed by Roxanne Moddaferi. So this past weekend at UFC 246, Roxanne Moddaferi defeated Maycee Barber via decision, but she completely dominated. So Maycee Barber was completely dominated on the ground as Roxanne Moddaferi just pretty much did whatever she wanted to Maycee Barber on the ground, was able to be dominant the entire time, have dominant positions, and essentially bloody up Maycee Barber as well as lead to a significant injury for the future. So with that being said, in the very top of the second round, Maycee Barber did suffer an ACL injury. It has come out since then, since the fight, that she actually has a completely torn ACL, which is going to result in her being out of commission essentially for 9 months. So how does this relate to history in the UFC? Well, Maycee Barber has said multiple times that she wants to become the youngest champion in UFC history. Currently, that tidbit of history is held by Jon Jones, who defeated Shogun Rua for the light heavyweight title when he was only 23 years old. Maycee Barber is currently 21 years old, but like I said, she's going to be out of the fight game for 9 months. After that, it's going to take her about 8 weeks or so, as a fight camp typically runs, before she does step foot in the octagon yet again for a fight. By that point in time, she'll probably already be 22, and then from there have about a year or less than a year to achieve her goal of being the youngest UFC champion in history. That is not a lot of time whatsoever, especially when we look at where she now stands when it comes to her place in the flyweight division in the UFC. So defeating Roxanne Moddaferi would have been an extremely critical win for Maycee Barber. Roxanne, even though she's in the top 10, but not in the top 5. However, Moddaferi is a UFC veteran, an MMA veteran. She's been in the game for quite some time, has an insane amount of experience, is respected. So a win against her would have been critical in catapulting her to getting a title shot. I don't think it would have been the next fight, but I think she could have been just one more fight and then a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. And now we're looking at her being out for almost a year, and then having, I say, it would probably take 2 more fights for her to win before she does get another title shot. She would need another one just to prove herself a little bit more, and then maybe get someone who's in the top 5 per se, and then finally have Valentina Shevchenko and that title shot. By that point in time, I think she will already be 23 years old, and would essentially, if for whatever reason she were to defeat Valentina Shevchenko, which I do not think is all that possible given her current skill set, she would be 23 years old and the same age as Jon Jones was when he became the youngest champ. So I don't think it is possible for her to make history in that way. However, she is still very, very young, especially for this sport, which in fact, people who are in this sport, fighters in the sport, do tend to retire in their mid-30s, before their 40s. So in terms of a career, it is kind of limited in that regard. However, she is still so lucky to be young and only 21 years old. So taking out 9 months, she still has so many years in the fight game where these 9 months aren't going to phase her that much in that regard. So when it comes to Maycee Barber, and when we look at her game and look at what she can still potentially achieve, I think that her future is still very bright and that she could still achieve great and amazing things in the UFC and in the fight game, potentially even change it for the better, depending on what she does do in the future and what she can open up for people in the future as well. I do think what we have learned in this fight, one being that she has an incredible amount of heart, which as a fighter, that can take you so far when you have that much heart. We saw her in this fight against Roxanne Moddaferi where she was injured critically in the beginning of the second round and still went in there and fought with a lot of heart. She did also fight intelligently, as she did try to get a triangle in the second round, and from there she did also try to get multiple guillotines, which are difficult to get, especially with the arm in guillotine, as she did try that twice. And we also did see her in the third round sweep Roxanne, which with an injured knee like that must have been difficult and painful, but she still did it anyway. So she showed a lot of heart, she showed a lot of grace at the end of the fight, after the fight. But one thing that we have also learned on top of that is that the weak point in her game is jiu-jitsu. Now, if you follow her on social media, then you will see that she does train with Ben Askren, who is an incredible wrestler, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game when it comes to wrestling. So when it comes to that component of her game, I think it's going to be beautiful. Just give her the time, give her the training, and I think she'll be phenomenal in that regard. But there is nothing more powerful when it comes to grappling than having just the perfect marriage of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That combination, they're so complementary towards each other that if Roxanne, forgive me, if Maycee Barber were to completely just have those two in her skill set, she will be so dominant as the years go by that she will be able to achieve amazing things. So given the time being, she's going to be out for a while, but once she comes back, I hope that she does dedicate herself to improving her jiu-jitsu skills as well as her wrestling. But I think that will make her extremely dominant. And if she does not, then fighters out there in the flyweight division know what to do when it comes to fighting Maycee Barber. But hopefully she can evolve and continue to grow. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Maycee Barber does still think that she can be the champion before she is 23 years old. Do you think that is a realistic goal? Or do you think that that's not going to be the case anymore? But also, what did you think about the fight? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more content. I'll be seeing you in the next one.